Good evening. Once again we return to the story of Caius, Spellsword, Dunmer, Eternal Champion, former head of the Blades in Vardenfell, Auditor of the Great Houses, Nerevarine, most loyal servant of the Emperor, Champion of Cyrodiil, finest courier in Tamriel, and as usual, completely forgotten. I've completely forgotten what I was up to. Ah yes, we were going to grab Mehrunes Razor. So I believe we went through the barrier here, and we are now on something like the finale. Apparently, even when sneaking, I walk too fast to go downstairs. Interesting.
I've entered the lost eyelid city of Varsa Balim. There's no telling what I may encounter here, so I must be on my guard.
Take me down! Why won't you die?
Really want to turn me into a vampire. So at this point, I'm really just trying to pick up whatever's light and easy to sell. I'll admit I'm a little surprised at how sprawling this particular level is.
Come to me, sweet flesh!
I don't know if that's because I've already taken up the slot, or if vampires are too strong for the gem. Let's take a look. Yeah, apparently the vampires are too strong for Azura's star. Which will be inconvenient when I run out of soul. Apparently they're all really committed to killing me. This is ridiculous.
Am I supposed to be impressed?
What's that? Damn, I've lost them. You there! This is the part where you fall down and bleed to death. Come here!
He was here a second ago.
You're outmatched!
You'll never! Ow!
I'll confess the lack of a quest marker has gotten me, I mean, it's nice to be exploring the environment, but I've kind of had my hand held for so long that I'm a bit spoiled for choice when it comes to places to go. So I think both paths lead to the same spot, but I'm gonna go back to the more clearly defined path. I'm not sure that's where I was supposed to go.
You there!
The big dilemma I have here is I just don't really know if I actually want to spend the time here. This is similar to a problem I talked about before where there's just really not a lot. There's really just not a lot that's an upgrade for me, so there isn't quite the same priority for getting stuff.
This is the part where you fought. This is the part where.
Probably need to do a bunch of repairs. And ideally at some point I do switch to another weapon just so I can start getting some more levels, but given the difficulty of the encounters in this particular one, it's probably not a bad idea for me to stick with what I know.
I've entered the Neferavigium and read Drothan's notes. They seem to indicate that by eating the heart of Dagon's champion, I'll be allowed to retrieve the razor. Drothan seemed to suspect some other means of claiming the dagger, though he seemed unsure how. This room appears to have been built around the original site of the Neferagium, but there's no sign of Mehrunes' razor. There is some sort of statue of man here, and some scattered inscriptions in the stonework. Perhaps they can give me some clues. At first I thought the runes were useless, but I was able to piece together a phrase. Converum Dagon Neferigium. Speaking the words aloud in that order caused the razor to materialize. Alas, the way to it is blocked, and I dare not risk force lest the gate is trapped. I must search for more clues. I've discovered more inscriptions, etched as to be neatly imperceivable to my eyes. After much labor, I discovered some clues as to the man entombed here. It seems he was a champion to Dagon, who failed in some great task. The kin, it says, Dremora, carved his chest open, through flesh, armor, and bone, with the razor itself. He stands guard now as a test to those worthy to claim the weapon. What sort of test can this be? The runes mention the ability of the razor to instantly send a struck foe to oblivion through Dagon's wrath. This corroborates many tales of the weapon, but can it really be so powerful as to kill instantly? The task seems so simple, now that I've given it thought. He who travels here draws the heart from the chest of the champion and devours it must be worthy to wield the razor. I'm wary to proceed and wonder if there's another way, but the power of the blade is so near, I must ponder my next move.
Didn't mean to take the wine. Don't you want to talk?
Frathan Drothan is dead, and with him dies any threat the Dothreri army might have posed to the Empire. Will you defy Dagon's task and try to force the gate open?
Oh man. Yes.
Who's there?
Your terrible strength forces the gate open. I've recovered Mehrunes' razor, a potent Daedric dagger which has a chance to instantly destroy an opponent.
Yeah.
Wow!
Alright, let's see if this thing's cracked up. This thing is...
Ow! Die, damn you!
This is not what it's cracked up to be.
Oh! Yeah! Ah! Oh, what's the matter? Is the baby gonna cry?
Your weapon sucks, Mehrunes Dagon. Alright, that seems like that's that for the mission, so...
Dunbarrow Cove. Centuries ago, a great battle took place in Anvil Bay. In the battle, the legendary pirate Toradan ap Dougal, the captain of the infamous Black Flag, was defeated by the first Count of Anvil. Rumors have been circulating of a hidden underground cavern beneath Castle Anvil. If the rumors are to be believed, then the final resting place of Captain Dougal and his ship have been uncovered. I should investigate these rumors as soon as possible.
Oh, they really want me out there. Okay. But it did occur to me I probably still need to get my horse, so... Thanks for waiting. So I definitely don't remember which races I've captured the souls for and which ones I haven't. Actually, I guess it'll tell me in the... It'll tell me in the list. I think that's a high elf. No, what elf?
I've captured the soul of a Bosmer.
Ah! I think the one little bit of good news about the crashes is that I doing a big install on something in the in another window. So as frustrating as it is, it's a nice little way for me to check in on the progress. That said, I'm really not hoping for more crashes. Trying to think of where the best crossing is. It's probably here. Actually, no, because I think if we get a little bit further down, the Slaughterfish River isn't really the thing that creates difficulty, it's the bay. Alright, so I'm reasonably happy to get back on a road just because that's gonna potentially lead me. Well, maybe not the roads, but being able to go along the edge of the bay will help me find any of the... Oh god, really? That's too far. There's gotta be a closer one. Although, still like the views.
Your money or your life.
I think I already have a Khajiit, but
We can play it that way if you like.
yeah, so I guess we need a Bosmer, an Altmer. It's 7, right? So an Imperial. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, maybe it's not 7 then. 10 souls. Okay. Oh, right. Orcs. Oh, and a Breton. Okay, so Bosmer, Altmer, Orc, Breton, Imperial. If the adoring fan was still kicking around, I actually have an idea. I suppose really the challenge with Hermaeus Mora's quest is not so much getting the 10 souls, but getting 10 souls that don't have criminal implications. As a practical matter, obviously, I could just put on Nocturnal's cowl and grab whatever innocence I want, but that's not my style. Usually. Obviously, I've done a couple of nasty things in the name of acquiring Daedric relics. Sorry, Steed, but you are in the way. Alright, so at this point it kind of seems to make sense to just follow the road for a little bit. Once we head due west, I'll probably consider angling for a few more of those bandit camps just to see if I can find some fresh souls. also do find it kind of funny that I go and try to find, or pick up the Nern route, even if that puts me in a position where I can lose the horse, because I know it just asks for so much, and it takes so long to get a potion that I never use. It's very unlikely I'm actually going to take advantage of the bonuses. Although now that I think of it, now that I'm the Archmage and I have the special chest. It's the same bear. Nope. Unless the bear learned magic while we were away. So, I actually think stopping by Bravel might be okay, normally it would be a good idea so I could sell off some of the items.
You do realize I've been holding you back.
So that probably is a red guard, but... Oh, come on.
You'll never take me down.
Alright, I'm gonna take that as saying that the spell worked. And that was a red card. Trying to think if there's any way of telling. Right, so I was originally going to go to Bravel, but there's no point, so... Now's the time I would want to consider going directly west. I'll take a minute with convalescence. I think this horse has lasted me the longest. I was kind of hoping it would be a bandit. The horse armor thing is kind of funny just because, you know, I haven't played this series except for the purposes of these videos. And, but I do know about the horse armor controversy. I don't think it was the first example of DLC, but it seems to have been a really, really controversial choice. And, in my case, I could imagine being mad about the horse armor because I have it, but I've never been able to equip it. Whereas now, I don't even know if anybody really refers to that controversy or not. Not that anybody really wants to hear Kai's Spellsword, Dunbarrow, finest career in Tamriel, Eternal Champion, so on and so forth, opinion on gaming controversies, but for the most part, gamers are idiots, and they will complain about anything without realizing why they're complaining about it, which is why I think the horse armor thing is not talked about anymore.
The Imperial Dragon armor ordered for me by Chancellor Okado should be ready. I can pick it up from the armory in the Imperial Legion compound.
Well, thank you, Siri. I didn't realize I had a digital assistant with me. One of the perks of being the Archmage, I guess. Probably shouldn't be following the streets here, I don't think. Yeah, I can do a straight line. If bandit caps pop up like this, I'll go pick a fight just because it seems like the best way for me to find some new souls, but other than that, straight line to the destination is probably where I want to go. So I would have said that's an Altmer, but it's probably a Bosmer. And it's idiotic to do 2 saves like that. Except for that reason. Oh, there's another camp. Okay, red card, so it's not a... not a priority. Looks like the bear got him before I did. I could cheat, so not important. Which I guess is kind of the canonical statement for most people. Sorry. Alright. Ooh. We'll deal with this. You're kidding me. Sorry, I got a little distracted. I suspect the thing is at full health now. Alright. I actually need to go to the bathroom a little bit. So I'm going to take a second here. I am still allowing technology to remind me to stand up and stretch and do things like that, so I'm not going to be gone long. But I am going to take more than just a bathroom break, so it should only be like a minute or two, but I will be back as soon as I can, and apologies for breaking up these videos this way. I'm still behind, but I'll be back. I'll be back soon. I encourage you to get a glass of water or whatever. Okay, my apologies for the delay. I got most of what I needed to do taken care of. But there may be another interruption in about... I'll try to make it, I don't know, say 90 minutes.
It would appear that there is a cave that leads under Castle Anvil. The rumors indicate that Dunbarrow Cove may be located under the castle itself. I should head into the cave.
Gonna take a minute here and drop off my horse at Anvil. I know it's a finicky touch, but I want to make sure my horse is taken care of. I may have read this already. Nope, obviously I haven't.
The Locked Room by Porbert Litmuli.
This might have been one that I read in Morrowind, where there's a test for the thief, but let's take a look. I think that's Yana.
Or Vanna? Vanna was precisely the kind of student her mentor, Arth Camus, despised, the professional amateur. He enjoyed all the criminal types who were his usual pupils at the stronghold, far from the common burglar to the more sophisticated blackmailers, children and young people with strong career ambitions, which the art and science of lockpicking could facilitate. They were always interested in simple solutions, the easy way, but people like Yana were always looking for exceptions, possibilities, exotica. For pragmatists like Arth Camus, it was intensely vexing. The Redguard maiden would spend hours in front of a lock prodding at it with her wires and picks, flirting with the key pins and driver pins, exploring the hull with a sort of casual fascination that no delinquent possesses. Long after her fellow students had opened their test locks and moved on, Yana was still playing with hers. The fact that she always opened it eventually, no matter how advanced a lock it was, irked Arth Camus even further. You're making things too difficult, he would roar, boxing her ears. Speed is of the essence, not merely technical know-how. I swear that if I put the key to the lock in front of you, you'd still never get around to opening it. Yana would bear Arthcamo's abuse philosophically. She had, after all, paid him in advance. Speed was doubtless an important factor for the picker trying to get somewhere he wasn't supposed to go with the city guard on patrol behind him, but Yana knew it wouldn't apply to her. She merely wanted the knowledge. Arthcamu did everything he could think of to encourage Yana to move faster. She seemed to perversely thrive on his physical and verbal blows, spending more and more time on each lock, learning its idiosyncrasies and personality. Finally, he could bear it no longer. Very late one afternoon, after Yana had dawdled over a perfectly ordinary lock, he grabbed the girl by her ear and dragged her into a room in the stronghold far from the other students, an area they had always been forbidden to visit. The room was completely barren except for one large crate in the center. There were no windows and no other door except for the one leading in. Arthcamu slammed the student against the crate and closed the door behind her. There was a distinct click of the lock. "This is the test for my advanced students," he laughed behind the door. "See if you can escape." Yana smiled and began her usual slow process of massaging the lock, gaining information. After a few minutes had gone by, she heard Arthcamu's voice call out from behind the door. "Perhaps I should mention to you that this is a test of speed. You see that crate behind you? It contains a vampire ancient who has been locked in there for many months. It is absolutely ravenous. In a few minutes' time, the sun will have completely set, and if you've not opened the door, you will be nothing but a bloodless husk." Yana considered only for a moment whether Arthcamu was joking or not. She knew he was an evil, horrible man, but to resort to murder to teach his pupil? The moment she heard rustling in the crate, any doubts she had were erased. Ignoring all her usual explorations, she jammed her wire into the lock, thrust the pegs against the pressure plate, and shoved open the door. Arthcamu stood in the hallway beyond, laughing cruelly. "So now you've learned the value of fast work." Yana fled from Arthcamu's stronghold, fighting back her tears. He was certain that she would never return to his tutelage, but he considered that he had taught her at last a very valuable lesson. When she did return the next morning, Arthcamu registered no surprise, but inside he was seething. "I'll be leaving shortly," she explained, "but I believe I've developed a new type of lock, and I'd be grateful if you'd give me your opinion on it." Arthcamu struggled and asked her to present her design. "I was wondering if I might use the vampire room and install the lock. I think it would be better if I demonstrated it." Arthcamu was dubious, but the prospect of the tiresome girl leaving at last put him in an excellent and even indulgent mood. He agreed to give her access to the room. For all morning and most of the afternoon, she worked near the slumbering vampire, removing the old lock and adding her new prototype. Finally, she asked her old master to take a look. He studied the lock with an expert eye and found little to be impressed with. "This is the first and only pick-proof lock," Yana explained. "The only way to open it is to have the right key." Arthcamu scoffed and let Yana close the door, shutting him in the room. The door clicked, and he began to go to work. To his dismay, the lock was much more difficult than he thought it would be. He tried all his methods to force it, and found that he had to resort to his hated student's method of careful and thorough exploration. "I need to leave now," called Yana from the other side of the door. "I'm going to bring the city guard to the stronghold. I know that it's against the rules, but I really think it's for the welfare of the villagers not to have a hungry vampire on the loose. It's getting dark, and even though you aren't able to unlock the door, the vampire might be less proud about using the key to escape. Remember when you said if I put the key to the lock in front of you, you'd still never get around to opening it?" "Wait!" Arthcamu yelled back. "I'll use the key! Where is it? You forgot to give it to me!" But there was no reply, only the sound of footfalls disappearing down the corridor beyond the door. Arthcamu began to work harder on the lock, but his hands were shaking with fear. With no windows, it was impossible to tell how late it was getting to be. Were minutes that were flying by, or hours? He only knew that the vampire ancient would know. The tools could not stand very much twisting and tapping from Arthcamu's hysterical hands. The wire snapped in the keyhole. Just like a student, Arthcamu screamed and pounded on the door, but he knew that no one could possibly hear him. It was while sucking in his breath to scream again that he heard the distinct creak of the crate opening behind him. The vampire ancient regarded the master locksmith with insane, hungry eyes and flew at him in a frenzy. Before Arthcamu died, he saw it on a chain that had been placed around the vampire's neck while it was sleeping, was a key.
Right. Shame to lose a pelt, but pretty sure I've already read that one. So it's rather telling. It's got the story, so I'm assuming what this is telling me is that the key is somewhere in front of me, somewhere in one of these containers.
I followed the rumors and found Dunbarrow Cove and the remnants of the Black Flag. However, the caverns are overrun by the skeletons of the pirates who perished here. I'll have to put them all to rest before I can begin to refit the cove.
I still think the inference that says, check the crates in the room that has the story about looking in the obvious places is the right the right one. Surprise. Tough one.
Third era 286 or thereabouts. I'm finding it unlikely that anyone will find in this journal, but if they do, know that here be written the last words of the great Captain Torridon ap Dougal, Scourge of the Abyssinian Sea, Terror of the Gold Coast, Cutthroat of Hunding Bay, and Lord Captain of the Red Sabre, the finest band of buccaneers and pirates e'er to sail Tamriel. I ain't a man with much use for words. I ain't never been to no academies, and I ain't never wrote no books. Words ain't never earned me no gold, so they's worthless to me, and that's why ye have quartermasters and first mates. But I'm gonna be setting my last thoughts down here on paper, because I ain't got much time left here before it's every old man's right to it's every old man's right to have his words heard. Now my business was fighting, sailing, and looting. I became a leader of sailing men, most feared in history, so they tells me. Now before you be getting ahead of yourself, let me be warning you that the tale does not end well, as I'm sure you can see from wherever you found me rotten bones in this god's cursed cavern. I was born in a little town on the north coast of Skyrim called Dunbarrow. Me mother was a wench and me father was a right bastard. The only thing that either of them ever did for me was doing me the favour of selling me off to a sea captain when I were 9. That captain, he taught me everything I ever did need about sailing and a few things about the rest too. You see, he were a smuggler, and he taught me all the smuggling and avoiding the Imperial Navy as he run the skooma route from Daggerfall to Vivek. Shame he were caught and hung. He were as close to a daddy as this old pirate ever knew. Closer than that bastard what sold me off e'er were, that's for sure. After the captain were hung, I got... it's kind of personal. I got around Hammerfell a lot. Fell in with a few crews here and there, and after a time got myself hired out as a midshipman on Captain Kaldag's rig. Of course, Kaldas was a drunkard and a damn fool, and ran his own ship aground in Anvil before we could any real pirate and done. So embarrassed were he that he drank himself to death in one of the pisshole taverns in this flat little seawater town. So there I were, in a backwater port when the war against the usurper broke out. I were out on hire with a rickety tub and a worthless rot of a captain when the Imperial Navy stole every pirate ship in port to go and fight their war. We was coming back to dock when we heard about it. Now, only a fool doesn't bite when he smells blood in the water, and that captain of ours was going to hand his rudder over to the Navy. The rest of us, well, we didn't so much like that. We cut his throat and tossed his worthless carcass to the depths for Hermaeus Mora to feast on. The rest of us put keel to this mud hole and broke for the nearest cove to lay low for a while. Now the thing that I learned about war is that it's profitable for just about everyone except for the poor bastards that actually have to go and fight it. While the Navy were busy putting down the revolution, they were too busy to worry about a bunch of old pirates running up and down the Gold Coast. And even better for us, the Navy was needing a stream of supplies up in High Rock to fight and didn't have the ships to escort them. In case you don't be knowing, cargo vessels without escort is a pirate's best friend. In just a couple of years, I had every buccaneer from here to Valenwood flying under me flag. We had dozens of ships and crew and more men join on every day. Soldiers and sailors, cast-offs from the war, escaped prisoners, they were the best cutthroats and sons of whores that a pirate could ever wish for. It brings a tear to me eye just to think of them all. But even better than the men were the ships, captured navy cutters, refitted privateer galleons, even had a few of them Bosmer ships with the funny living sails up in my fleet. The finest ship I saved for myself, the Black Flag. You'll find her rotten hull around here. She don't look like much now, but I can tell you that in her day, there were no vessels she couldn't outrun. All these men and ships, we called ourselves the Red Sabre. The merchant ships called us Death on the Seas. We got to be so feared that most crews just abandon ship when they see our flag on the horizon. With no navy to stop us, Captain Tordan ap Dougal and the Red Sabre was known all over the east. Now I ain't one to brag, but the Empire had a bounty on me of 40,000 coins. Now that's something to be proud of. Of course, the poor bastards could never collect on it. Anvil being the wretched den that it is, and most sailors there worked for me anyhow. Legion could never get no one to give me up. I wish those days could have lasted forever, but you know how it is, friend. Ain't nothing good can ever last. I ain't got much time left. Sure, we had plenty of food down here. It lasted for years, but all this time in the wet and dark, I got something nasty growing in me. What a terrible way to die. Not on the end of an enemy's cutlass, but because of some damned sickness. No seafaring man should die like this. At least I can still hear the water. But I was telling you the story of how I got mine, weren't I? I cursed the day that the Cameron usurper died and the war ended, because that was the day that the Commodore Faisal Umbernox turned his attention to the Red Sabre. A couple of months after the war, that fat, pompous bastard decided to come down here to Anvil and take up port in my town, looking to break up the Red Sabre. The Emperor gave him whatever he asked for to campaign against us, despite the coffers being empty from the war in High Rock. When Umbernox couldn't get what he needed from my men in Anvil, he set out looking all over the Abyssinian Sea for the Black Flag. There are hundreds of islands in the Abyssinian, and he landed a crew on each one. He rooted out my men when he could find them, hung those who weren't willing to go peacefully, and jailed those who laid down arms. No matter for many ships and men it cost him, he kept coming with more and more. We could never get ahead of him, and we couldn't never mount a counterattack. It took him 4 years and a hell of a lot of ships, but that sea rat finally tracked me down. It were my own fault anyway. If I never made the mistake I made, I'd have died before he found me. But a man has to stand up for his mistakes, no matter if it cost him. Besides, it ain't like I'll be fooling ye, since you're likely staring at me bones as you're reading this. Umbernox and his main force out of port following a lead that I planted. I set sail back to Anvil, hoping to catch him off guard, capture the boats he left behind, and fight him with his own ships in Anvil Bay. Ha! Can you imagine the look on the pig's face if it were to worked? I thought I'd finally get the Horson to show his face in a proper fight. Should have known he had men waiting there for me. We fought like hell, but we were trapped in the bay. The Navy men set the town on fire to keep us from fleeing into the land. I'm sure that the fine citizens of Cyrodiil didn't weep for the torching of a town of thieves. The main force of Imperial dogs held us until Umbernox showed up in his flagship. Umbernox fought me to the last ship, and in the end, the bay was filled with sunken and burning boats. If I weren't fighting for me life, I'd have probably thought it were beautiful. So the Black Flag and Umbernox's rickety tub were the only ones that were still floating and fighting when dawn come. So I did what any pirate with sense would do. I just tried to run. Now understand, I'm a right bastard in me own way. I'm a pirate, a murderer, a thief. I just certainly ain't never believed in a fair fight. There's a line and an unspoken code between sailing men, and Umbernox went too far. He had mages on his ship. Mages ain't never been allowed on my boats. They're no good, bad luck. I don't just trust them. Turns out I was right. I cut across the south side of the bay, along with a huge cliff wall that used to be there. I had me helmsman stay as close as he could to the cursed cliff. I could hear those mages from the deck of Umbernox's ship, yelling some nonsense into the wind. A few rocks fell onto my deck, and then a few more, and then the whole bloody cliff came crashing down on top of me. Now, don't you worry. I didn't die just then. The cliff collapsed around the ship, making this damn cavern. Better that it just fell on us, but no. It sealed the Black Flag, her crew, and me under tons of rock. We were buggered. I seen my own blood more times than I could ever count, but seeing the ragged mess that just come out of me lungs just now is the only time I ever been afraid of it. I guess I should be getting to the last bit in me story. Me and the crew were trapped down here, never to see the light again or some rot. We tried digging out, we tried blasting out, we tried calling to the Nines and the Daedric Princes for help. Nothing worked. Some of the men went crazy when we figured out that there was no getting out, but most of us just accepted what fate had dealt us. We made the hulk of the Black Flag into the best home that we could, and tried making a life of it down here. We had plenty of stores with us, and since most of the crew were killed in the fight, it was more than enough to go around. I will tell you, though, that you ain't known suffering until you ate nothing but hard rations for 20-some years. All the pain I ever caused anyone has been paid back to me tenfold, and having to eat the same filth every day for the whole time I've been down here. Then Grim died off. Grim was the first, and one by one the boys have been dropping off. They all got the same sickness I ended up with. We buried him where we could, threw him in the water when we didn't have strength to bury him. Finally, we just made him walk to the far side of a cavern a couple of days before the sickness ran its course. I'm the last, and I suppose that makes sense. The great Captain Dougal, defeated by Faisal Umbernox and buried alive forever. I wonder what became of Anvil. Probably let it burn and swept the ashes into the sea. Umbernox probably went back to the Imperial city to pat himself on the back and be rewarded with lands and titles. Like I said way back in the beginning, I don't expect nobody to ever read this, but if by chance someone does find my carcass down here in this pit, do an old seaman a favor. Track down whatever descendants that fat old sack Umbernox may have and tell him that Tordan ap Dougal says hello.
I actually kind of like that story because with Umbernox, obviously that was Anvil had his connection to the Grey Fox. So even if the city is being cleaned up, it still sort of bears the stamp of its origins. I would have thought that was the last one. Oh.
I've destroyed the last of the undead pirates and claimed Dunbarrow Cove as my own. The cavern and the hulk of the Black Flag are in terrible condition after hundreds of years underground. I should speak with Dahlia Rackham of the Clarabella. She'll be able to assist me in hiring a crew to turn Dunbarrow Cove into a suitable base of operations.
I didn't realize it was established I wanted to become a pirate. Alright, now Anvil is always a little bit of a pain because the actually, let me just see, did I get an autosave out of the... Yeah. Every time I try to go into the city from certain areas, it will it'll trigger a like it'll usually crash. You, sir, are a blight. You are a blight. So first priority, obviously, is to sell what I can.
Any friend of Martin's is a friend of mine. How can I help you? What can I interest you in?
Oh wow, they may have to,
That's a fair...
I may actually have to head out to, Bruma to drop off some of the stuff.
That's a good... You've made a good bit of gold. You got a great deal. I can't make that deal. You're trying to drive... That's more. You've made a good bit of gold. You got a... That's a fair... That seems a fair price. That's a good deal. A fine transaction.
So this just helps me clear out, like, obviously if there's more than one, I probably already have the guide to Chaden Hall and items like that, but in this case here I can just, sorry, I don't need to leave it to speculation. I can at the very least get rid of the surplus.
You drive up. You got a fine. You've made a... That's a good deal. Thank you for your patronage.
So even though I didn't sell
Take
any of the
care.
weapons, good lord, I got like 50. 50 back.
I've had many good meals at the Count's Arms. I've had even more good wine.
What did I do to deserve this honor?
I want to go a-pirating.
You are the toast of Anvil, my friend. It may be only a temporary respite, but everyone feels better with that gate closed.
upgrade Dunbarrow Cove.
Let's do business.
Like to hire a fence.
Pleasure doing business with you. Let's do business.
And a Fletcher.
Pleasure doing business with you. Let's do business.
Also, I want a better captain's quarters.
Pleasure doing business with you. Let's do business.
And better locks on the doors.
Pleasure doing business with you. Let's do business.
And even though I am the head of the Thieves Guild, apparently I need a spy master.
Pleasure doing business with you. Let's do business.
And finally a supplier.
Pleasure doing business with you. Goodbye.
I've completely upgraded Dunbarrow Cove and hired on a full crew. Once a week, the pirates who follow me will provide me with my share of their plunder. In order to send them out, I must speak with one of them to send them on a mission. They will return to Dunbarrow Cove in 1 week with my share of the loot.
Might as well give it a trial run.
Deepscorn Hollow. According to a mysterious message that's been delivered to me, I've inherited an underground lair called Deepscorn Hollow from a long-lost relative. It's situated at the southernmost point of Cyrodiil, south of Leowyn. I've marked its location on my map. At the next opportunity, I should make my way out there to inspect my new acquisition.
So they did put levitate. Ah!
It's my pleasure. Please, continue. Goodbye.
A pleasure to speak with you.
Tell me more about Anvil.
You can best know Anvil by walking its streets and speaking with its people. My favorite time is the harbor at sunset, the sun and sea to the west. Be seeing you.
Apparently I cannot send the pirates' wishes to the Umbernox family.
How goes it?
Oh, you know, just setting up a pirate base below your castle.
The bards will be busy composing songs in your honor for years to come. To think that we have lived through such times.
I want you to head out and plunder.
Of course.
The Grey Fox, wanted for theft, embezzlement, forgery, pickpocketing, counterfeiting, burglary, conspiracy to commit theft, grand larceny, tax evasion, slander, fraud, perfidy, and impertinence. Description: wears a gray cloak that conceals his appearance, presumed male and Colovian. Height between 5 and 6 feet, normal weight, eye and hair color unknown. Any citizen with information should contact the Imperial Watch. Watch Captain Hieronymus Lex.
Ah, no provisions. Disgraceful.
A pleasure to speak with you. Pay attention. Have a look at my wares. I can't afford to do that. I can't make that. I can't do that. Thank you for your patronage. What can I interest you in? Goodbye.
A pleasure to speak with you. What can I interest you in? I can't. Thank you for your business. I offer the finest goods and lowest price. Farewell.
Yes? Let's get to track. Have a look around. You're trying to drive. You're trying. No deal. I'm listening. Oh, where'd you get that? That's good. Don't try to manipulate. What a great story.
Alright, jokes and posts. We'll get along fine.
Where'd you get that? What nonsense. What? Let's just talk. What a great story. That's really funny. Is that not now? I like that. Don't waste. Really, you're wasting your breath. Oh, where'd you get that? Don't. What a great story. Can I interest you? Make me a better offer. Thank you. Come again. Have a look at my wares. Good day.
Hi there. I hope I can help. Good that you want to get that. I offer the finest goods. Take care.
Alright, that's pretty decent work as far as the That's right, that's some pretty decent work as far as the extra spells and such are concerned, but should probably get on to the task at hand, which in this case is Deepscorn Hollow. I thought that was my horse for a
Sorry,
second.
no time to talk. I have to deliver these copies of the Black Horse Courier. Here, have one of the latest editions, free as always.
I've read this issue a few times. But, I probably have to do a number of saves just to make sure that I don't lose too much progress. We'll carry on. One day these highwaymen will learn that you can't do this to someone on a horse. Hey, I should probably stop by the camps again to see if I can pick up any, fresh souls. That might be useful. It could be a Bosmer, but it's worth taking a shot. I thought that was a bandit.
Leave me to my work, stranger. You too.
Apparently I can't hit the horse. There we go. I'm not sure why I thought I could do a straight line. It's so obviously not. Not possible from the map. Oh, come on. So I think Skingrad might be where I can work with the Nern route. We'll take a quick peek in. Assuming that it's not, like if it's difficult to get in, I'll abandon it, but so hard left, I guess. Yes. I remember it's one of the taverns.
one moderate elixir of exploration coming right up. Hey, good to see you again. As promised, I have your moderate elixir of exploration. Use it well. I have more available for a great price if you'd like. Hey, good to see you again. Without a full 30 samples, I can't extract enough of it to produce the stronger elixir. Come back when you've found that many. Nerd.
Wonder how many I have. That's more than I thought.
Doesn't need sunlight to thrive. Don't forget to check underground as well.
So that wasn't a major priority. It's just nice to not have loose ends. It's a little bit closer to being a straight line, but not quite. So we'll follow the road where I can, and then when there's a convenient break, I'll maybe head to the right. Turns out that was earlier than I thought. Maybe. Leave my horse alone. Out of all the encounters, I'm probably most surprised that I've not yet gotten an orc soul yet. Breton and Imperial I sort of get because they look very similar. Even in some of the cases, like the Red Guards, I mistake for others, but you would have thought I'd encountered a hostile orc by now. Oh yeah, I was very premature on that. That's the one thing I hate about hitting the edge of the world, is that it feels like the borders are a bit ragged, so you'll try and get back to what seems like the right path. And, oh, you know what? Hack dirt might be good for grabbing a couple souls. Well, one. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same type. given the hack dirt, I'm pretty sure it is the exact same type. But still, that seems like a possibility. So I want to head a little more east, just because of the bodies of water. And of course, at some point I'm going to have to cross the bay, but there are a couple of narrow passages, so... So as usual, the effort here is going to be to just sort of try and trace the... Does that still count as the bay? The lower Niben. But yeah, like basically just try and find that bridge again. It's not marked on the map, so it's a little hard to find, but should be able to get through it. Once the music goes, I should save, and I'm pretty sure I don't think there's anything in here. I'm pretty sure down below here, it might even be in this area. Although it would make a little more sense for it to be here or here. Sorry, I missed the chance on the music. Okay, I also need to take a quick break again. Again, it won't be something for like running ads, or it won't be particularly long, but I do need to get up and stretch and just deal with a couple of things. So I will try to be back within 3 minutes at the most. Right, again, apologies for the interruptions. Did I save? That's what I was looking for. Wow, that is not an easy one to spot. So you'd sort of think that it would be in one of these areas. Anyway, we found it. I still really like seeing the reflections on the water. Sometimes it's more convincing than others, but... And then, especially when you hear the sounds of nature, it's a nice little touch. So I'd love to take the power, but we're being chased, so... No. It's a little bit like that spot in Morrowind. Well, I guess specifically Vardenfell. One day all this will be mine.
I've arrived at Deep Scorn Hollow. I should make my way inside this hidden lair. I've discovered a long-forgotten journal within Deepscorn Lair. I should read it to learn more about this unusual structure. After reading the journal, I've learned that I can acquire everything I need to restore this place to its original state from Rowley Eardwolf at the Wanet Inn just outside of the Imperial City. Tertus, 18th to Reign Hand, 3rd Era 421. Sithis speaks to me. He does not use words, but I can hear his voice. Echoes of darkness spring from his lips and tell me what I must do. The Dark Brotherhood must be purged of its clean-blooded vermin, and a new order must take the reins. The time is nigh for the vampire to claim its rightful place as the true hands of Sithis. I've secured the help of many of my kin, and soon we shall spread like a cold fog through the ranks and make the group our own. Soon. Sithis will give the sign. The time will be right, and the crimson scars will strike. Lordess 21st Reign's Hand, 3rd Era 421. We are betrayed. That cursed Solarian. He has made our true plans to the fingers, and we have been discovered. The Brotherhood struck as we slept, not even giving the scars a chance to fight back. Using their silver weapons, they pierced the heart of many of my brothers. The screams I could hear as they turned into dust still echo within my mind. I was able to dispatch 2 of the purebloods that fell upon me, and before they could send more, I made good my escape. I must find a place to hide, to recover from this blow. I will make my way south to Deepscorn Hollow, my old hideaway from when I was a novice. There I will make my dark plans, and we will see who Sithis truly favors. Tertus, 21st, 2nd Seed, 3rd Era, 421. It's nearly a month, and yet none of my brethren has returned to the fold. What puzzles me is why I have not heard from my lord Sithis. I have not heard from my lord. Sithis hasn't spoken to me since that dark night. What have I done to displease him? I've slain many since then, and poured their lifeblood on his altar, but still he remains silent. As I ponder this, I turn my attentions to the lair. Deepscorn Hollow will rise as a new headquarters of the Crimson Scars, but it must be prepared. So much to do. Lordess, 1st of Midyear, 3rd Era 421. The lair has improved much. I was fortunate to find Rowley Eardwolf at the Wawet Inn outside of the Imperial City, another Scar who had escaped the night of slaughter. He now does his dark work acquiring the tools I need to bring Deepscorn Hollow back to its former glory. I must remember him in future should I ever need these items again. Middas, 17th Sun's Height, 3rd Era 421. All along I was mistaken. All along. I was the blight upon Sithis and his dark name. Tonight he spoke to me, and again I learned of his displeasure. Again I heard no words, but I knew the meaning. I was meant to take blood, to spill blood, but never to taste blood. My sanguine ways have offended my lord. I must cleanse myself of this filth. I must find a way. Turdas, 30 the Sun's Height, 3rd Era 421. I found it. My lord will be pleased. My answer lies with the pureblood salts. Yes, I will bathe in these tonight and free myself from my old ways. Hail, Sithis, dark ruler. Soon I will be your only true disciple.
Interesting. Well, we've got the Bastion in case the calamity comes. Okay, then. Yes. I'm not entirely sure I stay the good guy if I put too much effort into this place. So we've already got a marker to the Imperial City, which is nice. Following it directly isn't quite gonna help because there's the bay is in the way, but we can get as far as we can. Should probably heal up the horse when, well, I might have to do that when I get to the Imperial City.
Show me what you've got. This is the part where you fall down and bleed to death.
It's probably not worth it, but... Stop! I might lose the horse. It's kind of nice that I'm still finding new locations. I'm trying to remember when I saved last. Ooh, that's ugly. say I'm afraid it's probably going to be a little quiet. I don't have a whole lot to say other than, boy, this was sure fun and sure pretty the first time I did it. Trying not to complain too much. But as before, well, basically, there's not as much to finesse on this one. It's really just a question of following the road until we get to the bridge. And then following that, we're pretty much on our way to the Imperial City. Goblin. Thought the sound of the arrow might mean another bowman. Well, I guess it did, but a goblin. That's probably just a hunt. I think it's like, oh, that's a murderer. They're coming after the sheep, and I'm like, no, you don't herd deer. Maybe you do. I don't even want to imagine what's coming after me. Alright, so this isn't the bridge that I'm looking for, but it is on the way. So that could be a Bosmer still, but I'm gonna make a shot for it. So it wasn't worth it, but couldn't have known ahead of time. Where'd my horse go? Oh, we still have a way to go before the bridge. So I don't know if I'm quite inclined to... I'm feeling a lot of lag here. Oh, see, this one I gotta do because that very well could be a Breton. Ah! Not good for my horse, though. I'm, against my better judgment, going to save. But I could be signing myself up for a situation where I always lose the horse no matter what. While since I've seen snow, or maybe I'm just conscious of it because of the. Well, I guess we had a little falling when we were up near Bruma. Definitely a little conscious of it because it's what it looks like outside too. Yeah, so I'd really like to go up to Bruma to drop off some weapons, but there aren't a lot of things that really drive me to go there, other than the amount of weight that I can carry. It's worth a shot.
Oh, hello. Well met. Come, warm yourself by our fire.
Sorry, I almost tried to kill you. This game. I suppose the other thing that's interesting looking at that install in the background is still going. Alright, that's definitely an opportunity. Yeah, they're attacking an Imperial.
I've captured the soul of an Altmer.
What can I do for you?
Thank you, maybe.
Carry on.
Ah! I still can.
Pay up, or else.
Not today.
Easily done.
See ya. Yeah, so at this point I think it's an Imperial, an Imperial, a Breton. Wait, is that really it? Altmer, Bosmer, Nord, Argonian, Dunmer, Khajiit, Redguard. So there should be 3 more. Imperial, Breton. Oh, an Orc.
Ah, it's good to see you, citizen. Oh, yes, I know who you are. You've become something of a legend in these parts.
Why, thank you.
Move along.
It's weird to see those on their own. They're not normally crawling around. So the Imperial Arena doesn't really offer me any opportunities to get the souls that I need. It's just Minotaurs now.
to hear. What's the news from the other parts of Tamriel?
I understand Daedra worship has become increasingly prevalent in the Somerset Isle.
The Altmer have powerful wizards. It could be a dangerous situation.
Goodbye.
You look like a bright one. Oh, it's my pleasure. Please continue.
Wait,
Goodbye.
aren't I supposed to talk to him?
Bye. Well met. Can you believe?
This is one of these cases I'm going to take a second and see if the wiki has anything to say about this. Here we go. So, from the wiki.
Rally Eardwolf may not have the Deepscorn upgrade items for sale due to a quest bug. See the talk page for details. The quest checks for the player's arrival at Deepscorn Hollow Island to enable the upgrade items, but the distance check is too small, so it is possible for the player to enter Deepscorn Hollow without triggering the quest stage, at which point the quest will advance again when the player picks up the journal, and the stage that gives Rowley the items will never reoccur. To avoid this, wander around the island on first arrival until the quest upgrade appears. Wonderful advice. If you walk straight to the location of the Nirn route on the south side of the well, you'll receive the quest update. Fast traveling again to the island may work as well. Note that if you have the bug, Rowley will offer to barter items, but he will not have the upgrades in his inventory. If Rowley is simply not offering barter, you do not necessarily have this bug. As with many NPCs, he only offers services during certain hours of the day. Ah. Okay. See his page for details. He is available from 12 to 12 and 2 to 8. Wait, what? Oh, no, 12 a.m. to 12 p.m., so all night to the afternoon. And then for 6 hours after 2 p.m.
Well, this would tell me if it's 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. Hang on. I'm just gonna double check that there isn't some weird way that I can reinterpret this. Yeah, I mean, so this tells me he should be available. So if it's 12 a.m. to 12 p.m., it's 6 o'clock in the morning. That falls in that first window, and then the next one would be 12 to 8.
Farewell. Oh, it's my pleasure.
That didn't do anything.
Good day. I hope I can help. Be seeing.
Can't pay, can't paste. Okay, capital DLCD.
Good to see.
Good day.
So I'm gonna leave this be for a bit.
Goodbye.
Greetings.
I'll just move on to another quest for a little while and see if the passage of time helps.
How does the day greet you, friend?
How?
One thing I could maybe try and do here is save.
Hi there. A pleasure to speak with you. I'm willing to teach. Take care. Oh, it's my pleasure. Good day. You need something special? Let's do business.
Oh, okay, hang on. So yeah, I could just be getting impatient on this.
You need something special? Check out my wares. You won't find this stuff at your local general store, that's for damn sure. Can I interest you in some of my wares?
Yeah, okay, so it wasn't a bug, it was just me being impatient.
No deal. No deal. That seems a fair price. That's more than... That seems... That's a fair deal. I wouldn't. I let that. Come back and see me again. There's much I can.
I've now purchased everything Rowley Eardwolf had available for Deepscorn Hollow.
Walk always in the shadow of Sithis.
So it seems with the Ichor, I probably want to visit the shrine again sometime. But maybe we can do something a little more interesting than head back right away.
I discovered a note from Bothiel at the Arcane University. If I can recover the Dwarven artifacts that have gone missing, there may be a reward. I should travel to Camp Ailes and see if I can track down these bandits.
Right, that was over here, so getting close to the end of the time, but let's try and make a little bit of progress. And as always, if any opportunities to eat the souls of Bretons, Imperials, or Orcs present themselves, I'll be a happy camper. I'm assuming that I might find the, I can never remember if these are Doomstones or if these just give me, magical weapon and armor. Anyway, Breton would make sense for a conjurer. I'm really struggling to think where I might find an Imperial. I mean, I would have thought that Imperials would be fine candidates for smuggling, but apparently not. Then again, I'd also think the same for Orcs. Oh, that's right, I wanted to see, is hack dirt anywhere nearby? Yes! So maybe I can go pick a fight.
Yes? Good day. Go ahead, please. Take care.
You all seem much more reasonable than...
Go ahead, please. Farewell.
Yeah, they all looked super evil and inbred last time.
Your presence here will not be tolerated. Stay away.
There we go.
Why won't you die? This is the
Captured the purest sample of an Imperial. Generations!
Thanks for escorting me.
We don't like strangers meddling in our affairs.
Now I just gotta find where I put my horse. Alright, so Breton and an orc. The Breton's gonna be a complete pain to find. Well, okay, not entirely true. I'm sure I could just head to the Mages Guild, and it would be very easy for me to find a Breton soul, but again, not my style. So it does say there's a camp nearby, but I think that's the camp I'm trying to visit. Maybe not.
Warming up, pathetic worm. Hey, take whatever you want. It's none of my. What? I can see a thing.
Alright, you're dead. Oh, you're double dead.
I'm just warming up.
Please tell me I didn't lose it. Yes! Breton acquired. Thank you for drawing the fire. You didn't get hurt that much, actually. Alright. So I believe it's just an orc now. And honestly, orcs are not that hard to find. Or, sorry, not that hard to notice. So the first hostile orc I find, we should be done. Breton, Imperial, Altmer, Bosmer, Nord, Argonian, Dunmer, Khajiit, Redguard. Yep, it's just the orc that's left. Oh, I could have got my armor while I was at the Imperial City. the little details, like being able to see the different areas in the background. I refuse to do this the easy way. Am I missing something here?
I found a list of locations at which the dwarven artifacts for the Ori are being held. I should visit Dagny's camp, Broch camp, Bodian camp, and Varus camp to track down the remaining bandits.
Oh boy.
Until a buyer can be found, the items should be hidden. Scatter them, so the Legion pigs can't ferret them out easily. Use our safe spots at the following camps: Dagny's camp, Broch camp, Bodian camp, Varus camp. Word will be sent when it's time to get rid of these things.
And on that note, I'm going to call it an evening. My install is still going, but I did manage to get this recorded in time. As always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.